He's done enough in the sport to have some form of a. You're right. Have some form of a. I wouldn't call it an exhibition, but I'd say it's out of the norm. So.
Pro boxing fans here in London, surprised to be joined by KD, part of Team AJ. Obviously you're here, Boxeo Aziz. You're here because Ben Whittaker's here, because he's on the card. But first of all, KD, how are you, man? How's things?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't complain. Can I hear me right now, yeah?
Of course, mate. This mic's up. We don't mess about with the audio here. But yeah, man, let's talk about Ben first of all, on why you're here. A lot of people talking about Ben. His last performance, he was great, but a massive year 2024 for Ben Whittaker.
Yeah. As we know, he was one of the standouts from the last Olympics, and it's now time. He's had an introduction to the program. You've kind of seen his character, you've seen what he's about, and I guess there's a lot of big things coming for him.
A lot of people are sort of talking about his style. He's quite flamboyant. He likes to show his skills, likes to showboat a little bit. But when I speak to him, he's like, listen, this is me, man. Like, some of the greats have done this, and I want to be one of the greats. But do you embrace it? Do you love what you see from him?
Yeah, you know what? I've watched him since he was a kid, and whilst I spent a lot of time up at the EIS with the GB athletes, one thing I noticed was there was a few kids up there, from Joe Cordina to Peter McGrail to Pat McCormack to Ben Whittaker, even Callum French. There's some kids that just have their own style. It's not GB tour, it's just them. You've got to let them do what they're going to do and just enjoy it. Like, we don't want to watch the same fighter fight the same fights in every weight category. So I think it brings something different to the division. I think it's exciting. There's some showboating in there, and it's interesting to watch. So I don't get what anyone's issue is. Let's just enjoy watching it.
But you have to be careful with Ben. We know that he's come off a couple of injuries. He's only just coming back and getting some momentum right now. But with that sort of past, we know how boxers are with injuries. That you sort of take your time with him. He's still young. He's still just sort of learning the trade in the professional ranks.
You know what? With Ben specifically, I don't want to label him as an injury-prone fighter. He's had a few niggles, and I think it's not really stopped him in his tracks as much as things could have. He's a complete professional. He takes his rehab very seriously. He takes his recovery, his training very seriously. So I don't think that's one of the issues that we're looking at. I don't think he's being wrapped up in cotton wool. Like I said, this opponent that he's in with right now, I told the team, he was the last person. He's the last man on Dan Aziz's CV. So when we look at what we're looking at today, we're looking at a British title fight, and I don't know what's wrong with that progressive career in the stages that he's taking it. You can't please everybody, so just got to sit back and enjoy the ride with him.
Just saying that, you can't please everybody. Obviously part of Team AJ, I do want to go off that. There was a time where AJ obviously was going through a bit of a turbulent time in boxing, where he fought Usyk twice, Ruiz and whatever else. Before that, you couldn't please everybody with AJ. In that time, you couldn't please everyone with AJ. But going off his last performance, looking online, looking at the sort of interaction that you get online, a lot of people are saying, look, this AJ seems to be the AJ that we saw of the past. And I don't want to keep going on about the past AJ, because there's evolution in fighters. But mentally and physically, are we seeing this last part of AJ's career that he's going to be at his peak again?
As big again?
As much of his peak again. Like we saw him hit a peak. We saw him hit a peak. Do you reckon he could get to that level where he's going to fight, collect all them titles again?
I think in regards to collecting titles, yeah, obviously I don't want to say that he's gone anywhere. I look at it like all the opponents he's been in are credible. I feel like this is one of those matchups where, as hardcore boxing fans, let's give him this one. He's done enough in the sport to have some form of a. You're right. Have some form of a. I wouldn't call it an exhibition, but I'd say it's out of the norm. So, like, I'm happy to see him in this fight. But look, he's stated what he wants to do. He wants to be a three-time world champion. He wants to still mix it with everybody who is in and around the top of the division, and he's never shied away from that. So I feel like you're just going to continue seeing what you've been seeing from him, and that's him bringing big-time boxing to the UK.
I do need to ask you, for someone who's known me, I've known you ever since I've been in boxing through AJ.
You're going like this, like I was that tall,
But like, a lot of people have made comments about AJ's mental state over the last couple of years. And something that John Fury said maybe about a year ago when he was asked about AJ was, physically he's got all the skill set. As long as he's in the mental state, you're going to get the best AJ. Do you feel like now with Ben Davison, that team around him, with Ben Heine, you guys in camp with him, that we are going to see the best mental state of AJ, which means physically and skill set wise, we're going to see the best AJ in the ring?
Well, to answer this question, I would like to just address the fact that I believe all of these fighters, all of them, they're all dealing with something mental for the fact that they go in there and get punched in the head. Whether you're a fighter who's had to turn to taking substances to enhance your performance, whether you've had to take a hiatus out of the ring and say, yo, give me a break, I can't do this. I just feel like everybody goes through their own different trials and tribulations within the sport. So the thing about AJ's career is we've magnified it, and you've seen it in everyone's face his whole career since his Olympic win. So it's hard to hide anything he's going through. Whether he gets a haircut, we'll talk about it. Whether he changes a trainer, we'll talk about it. So I feel like, look, as humans, as men, even as a black man, we go through some things. So we've seen some ups and downs in his career, but I genuinely believe that a happy fighter is a great fighter, and right now I've got no complaints to say he's not happy. So
the question that I do ask with AJ is, do you feel like he gets put under the microscope a lot more than anyone else? Because we know he was the poster boy for British boxing, for us guys who sort of bought boxing back a couple of years ago, and now you see a lot of people sort of rewarded from that are fighting today, that are fighting, next week, fighting a year ago. But do you feel like he's under the microscope a lot more because he was the poster boy, or he is the poster boy of British boxing?
Yeah, I'd say he is. He is the poster boy. I think, look, heavy is the head that wears the crown, and he's had to wear it for a very long time. So when you look at it, it's big business he's in, and it's what comes with the territory. He can't shy away from it. We can't shy away from it being on him. So it's what comes with it. Yeah, he's under the microscope, and all athletes, all sportsmen, this is what happens when you're at the top of your game. Like, you can't hide. You can't, whether it's your personal life, your performances in your sport, you can't hide from anything because you will be scrutinised. So you've got to suck it up and deal with it.
Final one from myself. We saw when AJ was sat there with Ngannou in London at the press conference, we saw at the back Takeover Sheikh sort of prompted this graphic to come at the back, and we saw the knockout stages, as we say, to get to the final. In that final, at the moment, it's going to be Usyk and Fury. They're fighting, and they're going to be undisputed at that point. Give me your thoughts. We're 2 weeks away from that fight. A lot of people have gone back and forth. You give me your thoughts now, 2 weeks away from the fight.
My opinion on Usyk Fury. You know what? I never write off Tyson, weirdly, but I just feel like Usyk has this one. It's just my thoughts. So I'm gonna go with Usyk.
Wicked. KD, I appreciate your time as always. No doubt I'll be seeing you in the next couple of weeks, maybe even in Riyadh. And good luck with everything else in camp with AJ, man. Thank you very much.